Matthew 25:31 through 46. There it says that if you did these things to the least of these, my brothers, it's like doing it to Jesus. Imagine that. That if you do something to these particular brothers of Jesus, that it's like you're doing it to Jesus. Isn't that? Now, Jesus is not here on earth. So if you want to do something for Jesus, you got to do it to the least of these, his brothers. Well, the governing body of the Watchtower says, well, okay, we're his brothers. We're the anointed, so we're his brothers. So y'all need to be there when we need something. Y'all need to be when we need something, y'all need to be on deck. Make sure that you're taking care of us. Because taking care of us, like taking care of Jesus Christ. That's what they're saying. We are those brothers. They've exalted themselves, of course. They made that identification. We're his brothers. Y'all need to be right there. We say something, y'all need to be there. And what did Jesus say? If you want to be greatest, what must you be? Servant of all. Instead, these self-declared anointed ones are saying, no, when we need something, y'all need to be here serving us. See, they turned it all the way around, which indicates they have no true understanding of Matthew 25:31 through 46. Because if they understood what Jesus said, they went right to Mark 3:35. He says, who are my brothers? Those that do the will of my Father. Is my mother, brother, and sister. Jesus right there telling you, whoever does it the will of his Father, that's my family member right there. So where they get off saying, well, we're the only ones that are Christ's brothers. That's not what Jesus said. And this is a deception on their part so that they can get unquestioned devotion. No matter what they want, they can get it. Because they've brainwashed people to think that when you do it to them, you're just like doing it to Christ's brothers. I mean, when you do it to them, it's like doing it to Jesus. And so, what's the result of that? They've enriched themselves. They live in this luxury. They live in all this empire that they built. All the while, not giving attention to who the real brothers Jesus was speaking about. And that's all those that do the will of the Father. The least of these, my brothers. Those who are poor, those who are fatherless, the widows. That's where the focus is supposed to be. Not on some people self-declaring to be so special that if you ain't there for what they want, you don't have God's favor. No, he ain't talking about them. He's talking about those in need amongst you. As the Bible says in the first century, they focused on that need. Acts chapter 4, verse 34. And the result, no one had a need among them. When people follow the lie of the Watchtower, the money flows the wrong way. It flows toward certain special people that think they're special and they're not. And they take that money and build their empire with it. Whereas if the money flows the way Jesus wants, it's focused on those who are in need, those who are least among you. And that's like doing it to Jesus. When the end comes, well, the ones who are righteous, Jesus would just say, come on into the kingdom, because you did all these things. I was sick, I was this, you were there. And they said, well, we never saw you. How could we didn't see you. How did we do this? He said, you did it to the least of these, my brothers. It's like doing it to me. You took care of the fatherless, the widow, the poor amongst you, like doing it to me. Because that's where Jesus' heart is. But all these others that are taking this money to build their empires, live in these mansions, taking this money of Christ to do that. And Jesus is going to say, when I was sick and I need you, weren't there. They're going to be saying, well, we didn't ever see you, Jesus. Because if we'd have saw you, we'd have got some of this money out and helped you out. You didn't do it to the least of these, my brothers. Well, how can you do it to the least of these, my brothers, when you don't know who they are? When you think it's some guy sitting up in New York who thinks he's all that, and he thinks he's anointed, and that you must do it to him. And he wants to be the greatest. When Jesus said, if you want to be the greatest, you must serve others. So when you want to do good, and you're doing it to Jesus, search among your church, search among your congregation, those who are in need, and do what you can to help them. It'll be like doing it to Jesus.